Yeah, I think pretty much everyone loves the idea of buying a business that comes with land. It feels safer, it's more solid, it's like real wealth. You can stand on it. But here's the question. Are you buying a business or are you buying a building? Because I've seen deals where the dirt made millionaires and others where it buried them. Today, I'll show you the difference, 4 real world stories, and one big reveal. The 8 creative ways the smartest buyers use real estate to build wealth without getting stuck. So hold on to that thought. We'll come back to that later. Hi, I'm Jon Stoddard from DealFlowSystem.net. I've helped buyers close over $33 million in acquisitions and raise $50 million in funding. If you're working full-time or just want to buy your first business without wasting years chasing junk deals, you should hit that subscribe button and stick around, because this video could save you from a mistake I've seen dozens of first-time buyers make: confusing ownership with freedom. Let's get into it. All right, lesson number 1, the dream, why buyers love real estate. You know what's crazy? The moment a deal listing says, includes real estate, buyers light up. Why? It feels real. It's hard assets, it's collateral, it's equity that doesn't vanish when Google changes the algorithm. And banks love it too, right? The SBA, because it lowers their risk. You get longer term loans, sometimes 25 years, if the property's 51% of the total value. That lowers monthly payments and improves debt service coverage ratio. It means you can get into a $2 million deal and still breathe, right? It's not eating up all your cash flow. But here's the thing. That feeling of safety can be a trap, because every dollar you sink into the property is a dollar you can't use to grow your business. So let's look at the right kind of real estate first, the kind that quietly builds wealth while the business runs on autopilot. Lesson number 2, the auto shop Goldmine. I knew a guy named Mike. He bought a small 2-bay auto shop in Phoenix way back in the 90s. Like, he paid $180K for it. Just want to be his own boss, fix cars, and feed his family. Nothing fancy about that. Fast forward 25 years, that rundown corner? It's now surrounded by Starbucks, Chipotle, and Home Depot. And developers are calling him nonstop. They don't care about his car lifts or his loyal customers. They just want that dirt. That half acre he bought for $100K, it's worth over $2.5 million today. And the shop, it only makes about $250 a year. That's decent. But the land is now the real wealth engine. And it's not just luck, it's zoning. Industrial zoning inside a growing city like Tempe in Phoenix is like owning beachfront property. They're not making any more of it. When you buy an auto shop with real estate, you're not just buying a repair bay, you're buying a moat, because nobody can build another one next door. So here's the takeaway to this story. The business paid the bills, the land built his legacy. So I have a question for you. Now, if you saw an auto shop with real estate, would you buy that business, or would you just buy that land and let it sit? All right, lesson number 3, the tire shop empire. Now, here in Tucson, you may have seen these. It's those tire and auto service shops that have been around forever. It's Jack Furrier. Faded red signs, 2 bays, steady traffic. If you lived here long enough, you've seen it on almost every business intersection. I went to college with Tom Furrier, his son, but he's the CPA. He's not in the tire business. And Jack didn't build his fortune by flipping tires. He built it by owning corners. And decades ago, when Tucson was small and land was cheap, he bought the dirt under every location he opened. Not fancy, just practical. Main road, good traffic, solid zoning. And fast forward 30 years, those corners are worth millions. Even if the tire business broke even tomorrow, the real estate would still be compounding. And I had a conversation with Tom, who I went to college with, Is your dad in the tire business or in the location business? And he said, it's the location. Every time a competitor leased a building, Jack owned it. Every time a landlord raised rent, Jack collected on it. That's not a business model. That's a wealth model. Jack started with one store and one lot and turned it into generational real estate wealth and had all the business pay for that real estate. That's what buying with real estate can do when it's intentional. All right, lesson number 4, the manufacturing owner who played the long game. Let's talk about Dan, small town guy, owns a precision parts manufacturing company. He's got 45 employees, really great margins for manufacturing, and consistent clients. So back in 2011, Dan made what looked like kind of a boring move. He bought his 30,000 square foot building for $1.2 million instead of leasing it. Like at that time, everyone told him he was crazy. Dan, don't tie up your cash in concrete, they said. But here's what happened. Industrial lease rates tripled over the next decade. And his mortgage, that was fixed for 25 years. His competitors were paying $15,000 a month more in rent by 2021. And over 10 years, that's nearly $2 million Dan didn't pay to someone else. That's what I would call forced profit. And when he sold the company last year, he didn't sell the building. He leased it back to the new owner for $18,000 a month. Now he collects $260,000 a year in rent, passive income from the company he used to own. That's how smart buyers play the long game. The building protected him from inflation and created his retirement. All right, lesson number 5. When it can backfire. This is the Florida nursery story. Now, this is when it doesn't work. I came across a plant nursery in Florida. Family owned, bought the real estate 30 years ago. I mean, they built a great lifestyle for themselves. Always kept a small team, steady sales, profitable, loyal local customers. But here's the twist. The land appreciated faster than business ever could. And today, that 5-acre property is worth about $5 million. But the nursery itself only nets around $250K a year. No buyer can afford the market rent on that land. So the owners are stuck. Now, don't feel sorry for them. They're land rich, cash poor. They can't sell the business because no buyer can service the debt and pay the rent enough to justify the property. It's the reverse leverage trap. This is the very thing that was supposed to make them safe, now makes them stuck. Again, don't feel sorry for somebody that owns $5 million real estate that's appreciated over that 30 years. But if you saw this business on Biz Buy Sell, would you buy that business if the dirt is worth more than the cash flow? Think about that for a second. All right, lesson number 6, the trade-offs. Real estate gives you security, but security has a cost. You need bigger down payments, which can slow your growth, and it ties up capital you could use for marketing, hiring, or expansion. When you buy land, you're choosing stability over speed. It's a different mindset. That's not bad. Just know the game you're playing. Some buyers want control, others want cash flow. Few can afford both early on. Here's what I tell my students. Safety can suffocate scale if you're not careful. So hold on to that thought because in a minute, I'll show you the secret playbook the pros use to get both of them. All right, lesson number 7, the SMART framework. OpCo versus PropCo. This is from a thread from Michael Gurley on X. The smartest buyers I know split the deal in two. They create an OpCo, which is the operating company that runs the business, and a PropCo, the property company that owns the real estate. That gives them options. They can do a couple things. They can buy the business and lease the property, or they can own the property separately and rent it to themselves, or they can bring in investors for one side but not the other. This separation gives flexibility, and it's how private equity firms have done it for decades. So this is not new, and you can even buy the business first, then negotiate an option to purchase the property later once the business proves itself and you increase those sales and profits. That's how you get control without overextending. But here's what most people miss and where this whole strategy can fall apart. Hang on. I call this lesson 7.5, why the math breaks. Everyone loves the story, $750K business that they bought and $5 million real estate. Yeah, that sounds incredible, right? Until you run the numbers. That business probably earns around $250K, $300K net a year. And that $5 million property at today's rates, that is $27 to $35K a month in mortgage, around $330K a year in payments. You can do the math. That means the business can't afford the dirt it's sitting on. The seller didn't get rich because the business bought $5 million in real estate. They got rich because time and inflation did the work for them. They bought that land decades ago, probably for $400, $500K. And that business paid off the loan over 25 years and they own it free and clear. And the market did the rest for them. But if you came in as a first-time buyer and tried to both property today, the $750K business and the $5 million property, that math falls apart. You're not going to be able to do it. You can buy one, not both. The business cash flow can't service that debt for both. And banks will never fund both on the same debt service coverage ratio. That's the part everyone skips when they romanticize the OpCo, PropCo story. Great tax strategies. But if the real estate outpaces the business cash flow, you'll end up like the Florida Nursery. Land rich, deal dead. Again, don't feel sorry for somebody that's worth now $5 million now. All right, lesson number 8, the big reveal, the creative financing playbook. Here's how to make that OpCo, PropCo model work today, even when values are high, because you just got to start. Here's 8 creative ways to finance businesses and real estate the smart way. Number 1, split the deal. Buy the business, lease the land. Negotiate long-term lease with the right of first refusal. The seller keeps the property, you buy the company, build cash flow up, increase profit sales, and buy the land later. Number 2, do a seller wrap. One combined note. Seller owns both, have them both financed. One note, one payment, often lower than the bank's blended rate. Number 3, dual loans, SBA plus conventional split. Get an SBA 7A or 504 for the business and do a conventional for the property. Keeps collateral balanced and spreads risk. Number 4, lease with option to buy. Operate the business for 12 to 24 months. Like you come in, you know what to do, how to increase sales, increase profits, and apply part of rent towards the purchase. Number 5, seller subordination. Seller takes back 10 to 15% note behind the bank. This satisfies the SBA's 10% equity rule without draining your cash. Number 6, option to purchase later. Fix the price now. Buy when the business scales. Number 7, bring in an investor JV. Bring in a capital partner for the property. You control operations. They collect rent. And number 8, rezone or subdivide. You can unlock hidden equity here. Sell or lease unused portions for capital. And if you do this right, you get both control and flexibility without sinking your future in concrete. All right, lesson number 9, practical application. What does that mean for the first-time buyer? If you're buying your first business, don't say, I can't afford the property. Say, I can structure this with a creative way. Remember the example, $1.5 million auto shop. You finance $1 million with SBA, $500 seller carry, 1 payment, 2 assets, total control. You can even make your first deal the one that teaches you how to do 10 more. If it works out, keep going. Wash, rinse, repeat. All right, lesson 10, the reflection loop. Let's circle back a little bit. You remember Mike's Auto Shop? He had zoning, built a moat for him. You had Jack Furrier. He built an empire, one corner in Tucson at a time. You got Dan, who turned rent savings into retirement income. And then on the inverse, you have the Florida Nursery. Got trapped by his own land. Can't really sell the business, but he's $5 million richer. Don't feel sorry for that guy. So 4 stories, 1 truth. Real estate can make you rich, or it can keep you from ever being free. It all depends on how you finance it. So you can chase comfort or build control. Just choose wisely here and remember the game you're in. All right, lesson number 10. You don't have to be great to start this, but you do have to start to be great on this. Start working on these deals. Get your reps in. And if you're serious about buying your first business, start learning the right way to structure these deals. Don't chase shiny listings. Learn to build wealth on purpose. If you found this video useful, you should smash that subscribe button right now. And if you're ready to buy your first business the smart way, head over to my website, dealflowsystem.net. Apply to be one of my students. That's where I can show you how to find, fund, and close your first deal. I'm Jon Stoddard. I'll see you on the next one.